Hey, good day, everyone. Otis Toussaint here with the 5th Medical Recruiting Battalion, coming to you live where I am going to talk with you all today with Captain Holly Weaver. Captain Holly Weaver, she's up there in the Kansas City Medical Recruiting Station. And what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about Army Nurse Corps Information 101. So you want to learn just the basics about what an Army nurse does, what the career is all about, and potentially what are opportunities that there may be there for you if you're interested in a career in Army medicine. That information is going to come over the next, I would say, hour or so. And and so I kind of inadvertently started that intro a little fast, but it's okay. We're going to make it happen as we normally do. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my partner in crime, the person who's been rocking with me doing these live streams over the past year I've been with the battalion, and that is Captain Holly Weaver. What's
Hey,
going on?
hey,
What's going on? What's going on? As
good
always, it's
afternoon.
good afternoon to you too. It is wonderful seeing your face as always. It's just, you know, good energy, good things will always come about when we work together, and this is something that I'm thankful for. I appreciate you coming and just talking with me today about Army medicine, what being an Army nurse is all about, and I am sure that the viewers also will enjoy this information that's coming to them. So, how are you today?
I am fantastic, Otis. I am so thankful to be here. And it's always a pleasure doing these live streams with you. The amount of feedback, positive feedback, and in the form of, future soldiers, there's been officers that are in the HPSP program already. That's the Health Profession
Mhm.
Scholarship Program that are in medical school. The feedback from last week's event was just phenomenal. And,
Mhm.
people are so excited about what we were talking about with Army medicine and what Colonel Danks has, shared about his career, that they're wanting to apply. I actually have an appointment later this afternoon with a general surgeon that watched the live stream and is interested in Army medicine based off of what Colonel Danks said. And something that she shared with me, which really kind of resonated, was that um, she's been thinking about becoming a physician, a surgeon in the Army for a while. But she said that what really resonated with her was when I said, the desire to serve is not going to go away. So if you've been thinking about this for a long time, or it's been in the back of your mind, are you going to regret this if you do it, or are you going to regret it if you don't do it? And she said that really spoke to her because it's been in the back of her mind. She's been considering it, but now she wants to, do a virtual appointment with me and just talk about those opportunities. So that makes my job and what I do so exciting, because that means that what you and I are doing, we're getting out there, we're connecting with the people, and it's truly awesome. So I'm so pumped. I could share so many more stories. I had a medical student after the last live stream that reached out wanting to connect with Colonel Danks, like as a mentor. So I was able to facilitate that. I had people reach out on LinkedIn, wanting to connect with me, that are in medical school. I had a medical student email me saying that, um, he was interested in applying for the STRAP program, which could help provide a financial stipend when he's in residency. So, we are generating awareness, which is the main goal, because we want people to know how awesome Army medicine is, because I know it's changed my life.
Oh, absolutely. The a statement that kind of stuck out with what you said is, and I'm sure this is something that resonates with a lot of folks, especially if you're younger, if you're in shape, but you're already kind of an accomplished person as far as your schooling and your medical school. You're thinking, man, should I do this? Am I going to regret? Am I going to regret not doing it? This is something that really resonates with us more than anything. So even before we kind of go into your presentation, we already have folks already chiming in to the discussion already. So let's go ahead and pop up some of these comments and let folks be quite aware of just the opportunities that there are there for them. So let's go ahead and pop up some of these comments, and let's talk about these comments that's already there. We've got one from YouTube, and this person's name is Andrew Ingalls. And Andrew says, that was the same statement my wife and I discussed. Would I regret not trying to obtain this goal? And that connects with what I was just saying. And it's obviously connected to what you said in your introductory remarks. Would you regret not getting a chance to actually go out and seek these goals, knock them out, potentially gain the benefits of having potentially your loans repaid, having a stable job, having a stable place to work, being able to provide for your family, and more so, being able to provide for our nation's sons and daughters that's fighting in the military? But what do you think about that, Holly?
First of all, I'm actually working with Andrew, so thank you so much for the shout out and for tuning in for this discussion. That was one of the things that Andrew said to me, just was that, it's been in the back of his mind. He has a family history of military service. He wants to honor his dad, honor his family, and he wants to serve his country. And he feels like, if he doesn't do it, he's going to regret it. And I tell you what, Otis, I've said it on our live streams. I don't even know how many times, but I'm going to say it again for people that haven't tuned in before. There has never been a day in my professional career as an Army nurse that I've regretted commissioning and being an officer and a nurse in the United States Army. Hands down, best professional decision that I've made. And now that I'm in this job where I can help people, come to the Army themselves and start their Army story, it's even more rewarding because I'm helping, young professionals and practicing physicians and, social workers and just so many different professions. I'm helping them start their Army story and their career of service. So it's so awesome.
Oh, absolutely, it is awesome. Absolutely. I would say, as a former Army medic, as a former nursing student, nursing major in college, shout out to Lincoln University nursing program anyways. I remember, you getting lost in yourself and serving others and taking care of people and seeing people, from their day one to their day that they're discharged, being able to see, people's improvement in their healthcare, and knowing that the Army gave me that opportunity to actually go to school and earn that degree and become that medical professional is something that's so enriching that you can't help but want to help the next generation to come in and actually who wants to be a medical professional and provide that medical care. We've got some other comments on here as well, and if you could just directly, I guess, address them. These comments. I see one from Mr. Dominic Antoine. He said he loved this. Well, thank you, Dominic. We really appreciate the words. I appreciate that. And then we've got one here from Miss Lachelle Scott. She said her niece wants to be a dentist. I think you can definitely, oh yeah, I forgot to add something on here. If you all look on the bottom, we've got a little ticker right there. You see that thing on the bottom there? You can, right now, reach out directly to Captain Holly Weaver on many social media pages, including LinkedIn, Instagram. There's a phone number. You could call or text her, or you could email her. Go ahead, reach out to her. I think this is probably the easiest way that people can reach out to you, and directly, and the answer will be right there for you. So y'all see the information on the bottom. Go ahead and use that information and try to reach out to that person who would love to help you jump into your career as an Army medical professional. And so we've got some more comments here, and I know we have our presentation that you have, but I love addressing these comments so that people could see that this is an active thing that's going on here. And we've got one here from let's see, we got one from Ms. Tashima Fear. Ms. Tashima Fear, I believe Ms. Tashima Fear is she is a medical professional as far as she's an OB and Peds. I met her some years ago, Mr. Shima Fair. She's saying, thank you for sharing this information. Well, Mr. Shima Fair, Lieutenant Colonel retired, I believe, to Shima Fair. She is, just absolutely wonderful. If you all just give me a moment there, let me address something. I am going to just reach out to Miss Weaver, and she's going to come back to us as far as giving us more information to come. Mr. Shima Fair, we really appreciate your comments there coming in, especially you being a medical professional. And I remember talking to you some years ago about, learning about what is this being an Army doctor is all about. And she definitely gave me that good information and motivation to stay within the medical field. As of right now, I'm still a medical recruiter down here in San Antonio, Texas. And so we've got Captain Weaver back with us here. Hey, Captain Weaver, how are you?
Can you
How
hear
are you? We can hear you fine. I know we have a little bit of a connectivity issue going on today, but we're still going to rock and roll with this. It's still rocking and rolling. And so we've got some more comments and questions here. And let's go ahead and put up another one of these comments right here. We've got one, it looks like just a phone number, Sarah, and it says, Captain Weaver, is LFET available for reserve component officers, or is that just active duty? If these are things, before you answer, Captain Weaver, if this is something that can be addressed in your presentation, I would say, hold on, let me show it in the presentation instead of answering it individually. Okay?
That is definitely something that we could address when we talk about long-term healthcare and education training and HPSP and the strap. So there's different options for both active duty and reserve, which I will speak to. Am I coming in okay, Otis? Are you able to hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. I mean, we try to fix the audio visual, but I could hear you sufficiently enough. So I appreciate you staying on with me. Don't worry. Even if we break apart, though we break up, I will still be able to add you back on. We've got this down like pit and pat. It's too easy.
I mean, it would only be so fitting because it is 2020 that there would be some type of communication, technology glitch. But it's all good. Life happens and we're rolling with it. And we're doing what we got to do.
Absolutely. More than anything, this presentation is kind of reflective of 2020, just as you said, hey, these things do happen. Let's go ahead before we actually address any more of these comments here. Let's go ahead and pop up some information on your presentation. And then, I guess when we see something that's kind of pertinent to what we're trying to discuss today, we could actually pop that question up on the page as well. So what do you think about that?
Sounds awesome. Let's do it, Otis.
All right, let's jump into it. This is your first slide. Go ahead, Captain Weaver.
So I always like to just kind of introduce everyone, introduce myself. I am Captain Holly Weaver, and I've been an Army nurse for 8 years. Like I said, best professional decision that I've ever made. I actually was recruited from the same office that I work out of. My recruiter came and gave a presentation to my nursing school, and I thought, how awesome would it be to serve my country, to give back, to honor my grandfather who served in the Army, to have the opportunity to travel and to have, unbelievable educational opportunities. Well, then after, I was committed to the Army, I met my now husband, and now we have 3 children. So I have been able to accomplish both my personal and my professional goals, and the Army has made that possible. Just a couple quick photos. That is the first photo on the left is me with my daughter Shannon when she was 6 months old. She's now almost 5, and I was at Captain's Career Course. The middle photo is when I'm at my change of command ceremony after completing a successful company command for a medical company at Fort Leavenworth. And then the last photo was last year with my family. It was before my son was born, and we were visiting Walt Disney World. So I kind of just, like to show everyone I'm a real person too. I have a family. I've been able to go after, accomplish my goals, and still have that balance.
Okay. Baby Max. Baby Max.
Baby Max didn't make the slide. I should have put a new photo in there with him, but that's okay. We'll put him on the next presentation. And then this just kind of goes in with, what I've been saying, what you've been saying, and that just feeling of, are you going to regret this if you decide not to go for it? Here at the U.S. Army, we are the best team on earth. I will say that and say it again because we are. We fight and win wars. And as a health professional, I'm able to have the honor and the privilege to take care for our nation's warfighters and their families, along with retirees. So it is truly an honor and a blessing to be able to care for our youngest family members when they're born, all the way up to our oldest retirees and veterans, before they pass away. And I've personally had the opportunity to do that, working labor and delivery at MedSurg. I've been on both sides of the spectrum. So join us. U.S. Army, best team. This is just a quick nurse corps history. Just a few fun facts. I'm not going to read all of this to you, but the Army Nurse Corps hasn't been around, really for all that long. And it hasn't been but since 1947, where, it was actually something that you commissioned for. Before that, it was an all-female corps, but you weren't a commissioned officer. So we've really come a long way in quite a short time. And the first nurse and the first woman to be Surgeon General was General Horho, and that was in 2011, and she was the Surgeon General when I came on to active duty. So, we've come a long way. We still have a ways to go, but it's just kind of interesting and cool to share a little bit of history. So I just kind of wanted to put that on there for people to take a look at. Eligibility requirements. This is kind of, the boring slide that isn't too much fun, but it's necessary. Age requirements, 21 to 42. Sometimes we can do waivers in the reserve. It's just case-by-case basis, but active duty is 42. You must be a United States citizen. You can't have a green card for the reserve. You do need your BSN and a preferred GPA of 3.0. Not 100% required anymore. So they did take that away. So that is good. And then you do need experience. We're not taking new nurses anymore because our mission has changed. Every year we get a different mission, and we adjust how we recruit based off of that. And, we still want to talk to nursing students, and we still go into nursing schools because we want to plant that seed, and we want to talk to nursing students about the opportunities that they could have after they have a little bit of experience in the ER, in the ICU, potentially in the OR. We still, want to talk to those nurses because they could be serving with us in just a few short months or, a couple years. Of course, you need your certifications, and if you're a nurse practitioner or a CRNA, you have to be board certified. And it is a highly, highly competitive market. It is not a qualified market. It's a highly competitive market. I believe, every year we're kind of going, it's just become more competitive. That's not to say that it's not within reach, but, just from last year, our slots went from heavily on the reserve side to now we have more slots on the active duty side. And then they also have decreased some of our different job positions. We call them AOCs. So that's what you're pulling up right now. Go ahead and pull those up, Otis, and I can talk to that. Okay, so these are the positions that are available both for the active duty and reserve. There's a lot of kind of numbers and letters going on, which is why I put explanations next to them. But for the active duty side, we have 66 box CRNA student program. So that I will speak to, but basically what that means is we have slots available for you to go to school and then be a CRNA, active duty. Your school will be fully paid for. We also have health professions scholarship program available for CRNAs, psych nurse practitioners, and family nurse practitioners, but in a very limited basis. We only have 5 slots available for that. And that would be where you're going to a college of your choosing in person, and then afterwards you would serve as an active duty CRNA, psych nurse practitioner, family nurse practitioner. We have slots available for emergency room nurses, critical care nurses. We have slots available for ICU student nurses, and what that means is you are an ICU nurse. You are a med-surg nurse with 2 years of experience, and you come into the Army, and then we train you to be an ICU nurse. So that's kind of a cool, unique opportunity that you can do that. Okay, there's a little bit of feedback. I don't know if you changed your headset.
We had to fix a little something here. We're still good to go. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just hearing my echo, so thank you for fixing that. We also have slots available for psych nurse practitioners, CRNAs, and nurse practitioners active duty side. The reserve side, our slots, they went down for this fiscal year. They just, when we go to our mission, this is what we are told that the Army Reserve needs and the active duty side needs. So that's what we're going with. So we need OR nurses, ER nurses, critical care nurses, and then we need CRNA students. And the strap, what that means is you're going to be getting a stipend while you're in CRNA school, and then afterwards you'll serve as a CRNA in the Army. So these are the slots available for this year. Every year it does change, and it did change from last year. So if your specialty is not on here this year, it doesn't mean it's not going to be next year. We typically get our mission around the summertime, but if Army nursing is something you really want to do, but you want to stay within your specialty, there's a couple courses of action for you. You can keep checking back with your recruiter and see if there's anything that's changed. You can adjust and maybe go active duty if you were thinking about reserve, or if you just want to be an Army nurse and you don't care about the being a med-surg nurse, go for the 66 Sierra student program. It is a phenomenal opportunity, and it's going to get your foot in the door for Army nursing. And that's all I have for that slide, Otis.
Awesome.
Okay, so I've kind of talked to this a little bit, but I'll talk about it a little bit more. So the opportunities for Army nursing are endless, and I will say this again and again, endless. The only box that you're in is the one that you put yourself in. The career opportunities are phenomenal. I feel like I've had a career of 5 people, and I've only been in for 8 years. I started off working doing med-surg nursing at a medical center in San Antonio, and did staff in charge nursing. Then I worked at the hospital at Fort Riley and worked labor and delivery, staff in charge nurse. Came over to Fort Leavenworth, and I was the head nurse of primary care, which had 80 staff members, and I was in charge of all the nurses, RNs and LPNs. I was a hiring manager, which was a phenomenal experience. Having the ability to, pre-screen resumes, do reference checks, and conduct interviews, and have a hiring panel. That was a great life and career skill that I was afforded the opportunity to do and I was in my 20s. So the types of leadership positions that you're put into at a very young age in your career, or just in your life, is phenomenal. And I wouldn't have had these opportunities otherwise. So I've already talked to you about the command and leadership roles. You can do company command, battalion command. Our battalion commander is a medical provider and is an eye doctor. Flight nursing, that picture is actually of a former recruiter, Captain Brown, and he's actually getting his CRNA school paid for right now, and that's his job in the Army. Force deployments, I have not personally deployed. It hasn't worked out with the jobs that I've been in, and just with family planning, you can't deploy if you're pregnant. But that's a nice balance of being in the military. They allow you to have a family, and they allow you to do that, and it's not a discriminator. Of course, as a healthcare recruiter, that's an opportunity. Humanitarian missions is a huge one. We're just depending on what's going on in the world, there's constantly different opportunities that you can volunteer for, and have the opportunity to go and help out and receive training that you wouldn't receive otherwise. And then of course, there's opportunities to become an instructor and mentors to LPN students, to medics, all different kinds of amazing, great opportunities that are out there waiting for you to go and get them. Okay, so the first scholarship program I'm going to talk about is the Health Professions Scholarship Program. It's called the HPSP. This is an active duty program, highly competitive for family nurse practitioner, psych nurse practitioner, and CRNA school. This is basically where you go to the school of your choice, as long as it's in person, and then after that, you would serve active duty as your specialty, FNP, Psych NP, or CRNA, and you would owe. So they have scholarships available in 1, 2, or 3 years. You're going to get your tuition paid for, and you're also going to get a stipend while you're in the program, and you're like in a reserve status. So you're not having to do any Army commitment while you're in school. You're just focused on your school. So it has the timelines up there as well. They can shift a little bit every year, but that's a general. That was the time frames for this past year, so I updated it for next year. But like I said, extremely competitive. But if you are interested, reach out. If I'm not the right recruiter, because we're based off of our location, I will get you where you need to go and we'll make it happen. So it's a phenomenal opportunity to get your school paid for, get a stipend, and then serve in the Army. Okay, so now we have the USAGPN CRNA school option. What a phenomenal program. Always in the top. There's a couple ways that people can apply for and go to USAGPN. They can be a civilian, off the street that's a nurse, and apply for USAGPN and commission that way. You can also be serving and be an ICU nurse already in the Army, get your couple years of experience, have your leadership recommendation, and they apply through the LSAT process. When they apply through LSAT, they'll be selected for the long-term healthcare education and training, and then they get accepted into Baylor. And then, like I mentioned, Captain Brown, that's his only job right now. He's going to CRNA school, and he's getting paid to do so. So that's phenomenal. If you're a civilian that applies for this program, you'll come in, and before you go to your set duty station where you're going to be a CRNA, you're going to go do your schooling. You're going to get your clinical rotations, and then you're going to be a CRNA, and then you're going to be serving as a CRNA in the Army. So the application process is slightly different. One you're already serving, the other you're a civilian but still a nurse off the street. But Baylor is top ranked, and like I said, it's extremely competitive. But if this is something that you want to you think you want to do, go for it. The worst thing that can happen is that you're not selected, but you won't know unless you try. So there's a lot of information there on the specific process. I don't want to explain it all, but just this is kind of how it's laid out. You have to apply to Baylor. You also have to apply to be an Army officer at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So the deadline for this year has passed, but that's not to say that you can't apply for next year. This is just putting the information out there, so if people think that might be something I want to do, the opportunity's out there. Are there any questions related to CRNAs that were coming through, Otis? Do you see?
Let's take a look real fast to see if there are any questions regarding CRNAs. Oh yes, there's one. There's actually a comment. Let's go ahead and pop it up on the page, and let's bring it back here. And the first comment I see popping up is this right here. If I wanted to join active duty and then go to CRNA school, is that something that is possible? I just love the amount of professional opportunity that is available. What's that answer?
Absolutely. So that's just what I was explaining. The LSAT is what you would be applying for if you're already serving active duty. So, let's say Andrew, he serves as an ICU nurse, and then he tells his leadership, this is what I want to go for. He puts in his packet for long-term healthcare and education and training, and then also applies for Baylor, and then that's the path that he will go. But yes, he has that same opportunity that a nurse, that's a civilian, does for applying for the program. So yes, you're right. There is just so many different professional opportunities. And something that I kind of want to quickly mention, not about CRNA, but something that we don't necessarily always highlight. There's also tuition assistance that you can get, by serving. So right now, I'm actually pursuing my master's degree, and almost all of it is being paid by tuition assistance. So that's like a really awesome opportunity that I have to get my master's degree while I'm working and serving, and not really have much of a financial obligation, put on me, because the Army, a benefit of serving is that, the tuition assistance. So I'm taking advantage of that and furthering my education. So that's just another option that, once you're serving, if you want to obtain a degree, you can use tuition assistance as well.
Excellent. Well, we see a comment coming in. Let's see, another comment that I saw. It's in regards to the LFET program. That question comes in. Did we address this? It says, is LFET available for reserve component officers or just active duty?
So I hadn't talked about strap yet, but basically, if you want to do LSAT, you are going to be committing to serving active duty after you complete, like, let's say, CRNA school. So if you apply and you're accepted, and then once accepted, you will be an active duty CRNA, or so on.
Okay.
So potentially, but then you would not be in the reserves anymore. But there are programs for reserve as well.
Okay. I've got actual people are inboxing me on my Facebook about, hey, can you tell me more about this? So this question, I'm going to just read it off. It says, I am Kevin, and I apologize if I mess your last name up. It says Odiambo. Odiambo. I am Kevin. I am Kevin Odiambo, a Kenyan citizen. I am interested in joining military career in the U.S. Is that possible?
If he has his green card, it's possible for the reserve.
Okay.
But
Awesome.
he would need his green card, and then he could potentially do reserve service.
Yep. You've got to have the citizenship in first. As a native of Trinidad and Tobago, I would say, and I'm an islander. I was born in the islands, and I grew up in New York. But I got my citizenship, and I was able to serve, and I was able to serve as a medical provider at one time in my life. So
that's
that
awesome.
is a priority. That's what you've got to do first and foremost. We've got
and
some
your
good
success
comments.
Story.
Yeah, if you only know my story, Lord have mercy. I don't even want to share. That's too much to share at this moment. Maybe later on. Let's go ahead and we have some comments that are actually coming up as well. Let me pop up this comment here. And it comes from Mr. Darrell Long Sr. He said, I am a career AMED recruiter, now retired, currently a recruiting operations officer at the largest nurse producing program in Alabama.
Roll Tide.
All right, roll tide. There's far more misinformation distributed to the masses than accurate facts. So I'm thinking Mr. Long is probably giving us compliments, because from what I see here in a future comment, he says this format is amazing, a very necessary resource of real-time accurate information. I think more than anything, Mr. Long, and we appreciate your compliments, especially to Captain Weaver and the work that she's doing. People desire real-life information, especially if they're going to be making choices in their potential career fields. So we appreciate your comments coming in. If you, of course, would like to connect with any of our recruiters here, especially where you're working in the largest nurse producing program in Alabama, potentially we may have future Army medicine, Army medical providers in that program that you're working with. So please reach out to Captain Weaver. You see the phone numbers, you see the LinkedIn account, you see the information to reach out to her. Connect with her and see if she could help out some of those potential future medical professionals. So we've got some
Absolutely.
more. Yeah, what do you think
Wow,
about that?
we have all the comments coming in. That's awesome. Just what I wanted to say, Daryl. Thank you for your many years of service. That's awesome that you retired and you're still wanting to help out the future of Army medicine. So thank you so much for the work that you do, because I know that we need you and we appreciate it. Just kind of what Otis is saying. If there's any way that I can help you out with the programs that you work for, I work for the Kansas City Medical Recruiting Station and the 5th Battalion, but I am happy to share my knowledge, expertise, and experience. That's why we've been doing these live streams, and we started them up once COVID hit, because it's so important to just get the word out about Army medicine. Instead of doing, the in-person events that might have, 100, 200 people, those still have value. But now we're able to reach a much larger audience. I've had live streams where I've had soldiers tune in while they're deployed in Germany,
Mm-hmm.
in Hawaii, all across the United States and different places across the world. And then they're able to do a playback. Something
Mm-hmm.
that's really, truly pretty cool is we did an Army Nurse Corps live stream. I believe it was in May, and I've received, well over 100 emails, calls, texts, Instagram DMs, LinkedIn connections, just from that live stream. And last week, I just had 4 people reach out on the same day, wanting more information because they had came across a YouTube video. So our goal is
Mm-hmm.
to increase awareness and help people find out more information and get them to the right location to apply. I think it's great if people are in the Kansas City area, but my main goal is to spread the word about Army nursing, because 100%, like I said, it's the best team on earth, and I stand behind that. So I want more, high quality teammates that have that desire to serve, that want to join me on the best team. So thank you for what
Absolutely.
you're doing. And, we're doing our best to put out good information and to just connect with the people.
Absolutely, more than anything, and to the people that may be joining us late on our discussion. She's not only just Captain Holly Weaver, Army officer. She's also a medical provider. She's an actual Army nurse as well. So she's knocking it out the park as a communicator of Army recruiting efforts, but also she is an actual medical professional. So reach out to her, send her that message, give her a text, and she will reach back to you. We've got more questions coming in here. Let's go ahead and pop up some of these questions. It comes in from Mr. Bawil Josiah. It says, I'm in my final semester in BSN and also active duty. Please, I do get into the Army nursing. How do I get into the Army nursing to be an officer? AMA recruiters don't have the answers to my unique situation. I think, what do you think about that, Captain Weaver?
It is a very unique situation, because in the past, we have had the ability to take brand new, med surg nurses with no experience. Unfortunately, the mission has changed, and we no longer are able to take nurses that have no experience. So those nurses have to go out and get experience, while they're still serving, which is really hard, because you have to have the clinical time before you can apply. So I've advised several people on this, and you can kind of just the weigh your options. And I'm really sorry, there is no really good answer, because we are not able to take brand new nurses anymore. But here are your options. You can get a job moonlighting with command approval, of course, and start getting that experience, and just work your way up to having that experience to be eligible to apply. I'm not sure how much time you have left on your contract, but this is something you could start doing. There's always going to be restrictions and guidelines of how many hours of moonlighting you can do, if it's allowed. So check in with your command on that and see, what you could do. Like in previous commands, you could do like maybe 12 hours a week or 16 hours or something like that. So check into that. And if if you want to be an Army nurse, start knocking out those hours, start getting that experience. And then another option, if you're at the end of your contract, potentially you could get out and then get that experience and then apply to come back in. So I'm sorry, that's not really a good answer. That's an honest answer. There is no clear path, but you can make a path. If this is something you really want to do, it's going to take, you're going against the grain here because there's no easy answer. It's not going to be a shoo-in, but you can do it. And if you want more advice, please reach out and I'd be happy to mentor you.
Excellent, excellent. As always, I like that this statement you said. It's an honest answer, not an easy answer, and that's what people typically strongly desire from their recruiters or those who are trying to tell them about a new career field they may potentially be into. They just want honesty. We've got another question coming in from YouTube. It comes from Hannah Acton. She asks, do you happen to know if the Navy or the Air Force is taking new BSN graduates?
Personally, I don't know if they are. I have the phone number to a Navy recruiter. I'll shoot him a text, and if his answer comes back in during the live stream, I'll do an update on if they are taking new graduates. I know in the past they did, but like ours, their mission changes every year. So the best way to be, to check with your local recruiter. But I'm going to go ahead and send this text message during the live stream, and if he comes back with an answer, I'll give an update.
Awesome. That's the wonderful thing about being live, and especially working with someone who's diligent in what they do. They will give you those answers, and if they can't give you that answer right then and there, they will get the research done and make sure that it is addressed honestly. All right, so we've got some more comments, of course. We've got one here from Mr. James McCracken. Asks, the programs available sounds awesome. I've been researching the AECP program. However, is there a chance, even for old timers with 16 plus years currently in the Army at 37 years of age and no medical background?
Okay. Programs. Okay, so there are opportunities for you. You might have to get a waiver for your years of service. Don't quote me, but you might. 37 years old, that's not bad. But the AECP program, excuse me, I need to take a drink of water. The AECP program, now you apply through an AMED recruiter. So you actually will apply to the school of your choosing, work with your AMED recruiter to get accepted into AECP, which I'm getting ready to go over that slide. So let me address that in a minute. I'm sorry, Otis, I need to take another drink.
Let's go ahead and, no, it's fine. Let's go ahead and jump into those slides again so that we could at least address some of these potential questions that we have. And we encourage you all out there, if you have more questions, go ahead and shoot them on over to our social media pages. Do you want to jump into the next one, Holly?
Yes. Okay, so I already talked about USACPAN. If you want to go to the next slide.
There you go.
Okay, so I mentioned this earlier. The 66 Sierra Student Nurse Program is a great way as a med surg nurse that has 2 years of experience to get yourself in the door. We're going to provide you amazing training to become an ICU nurse, and then you're going to get to serve in one of our major medical centers. So this is a great way, if you're a med surg nurse, to come on active duty.
Awesome.
Okay, this is a STRAP program, which I've already kind of talked about as well. But this is if you're in the if you're in the reserve, you can apply for this. Or if you're wanting to serve in the reserve. And it's only available for CRNAs at this time, for as of this year. But you would get accepted to a CRNA school, and then you're going to get a stipend of almost $2,400 to help out financially while you're in school. And then once you're done, you'll be serving as a CRNA afterwards. So that's an amazing opportunity as well.
Awesome. Let's jump into the next one.
Okay, so Chief Cooper is actually messaging me back right now, but he's still typing more, so I'll address that in a minute. The AECP program is an amazing way for currently serving soldiers who have started their prerequisites that want to go to nursing school to commission. This is the best way if you're currently serving to get your foot in the door into commission as an Army nurse. And it's open to active duty reserve and National Guard soldiers who want to complete their BSN. There's a tuition cap, but online, if you go on the website, there's a list of schools that meet that cap. And then you have to apply, be accepted to that school, as well as work with an AMED recruiter to complete the application process to become an Army officer. So a lot of it is, there's a very extensive checklist, and you're going to have to do a lot of work on your part, but trust me, it's worth it. And we will help guide you through that process and make sure that you have everything submitted that you need to put your best foot forward and to apply for this program. And this is a new change as of fiscal year 2021 that we are going to be helping out. Before, the soldier just mailed everything in. Now we're helping out with this process. They changed it up on us. And this is just a comment, a slide on, what is going to set you apart from your peers when you're applying to become an Army nurse. We're working in a highly competitive market where it is important to make sure you're putting your best packet forward. Everything is done virtually. You actually don't do a over the phone in-person interview. Your interview is your paper packet. So you want your paper packet to look flawless. And here's a few tips that can help make you do that. Your statement of motivation. This is a one-page essay that is, professing why you want to serve. What is calling you to serve our country? What do you bring to the table? What experiences do you have? What volunteer work have you done? What is going to set you apart? And what is your why? What is your why to serve? My why of why I started serving is now different than what my why is, why I still serve. My why when I started was, I wanted to serve my country, which I still do. And I wanted to honor my grandfather. My why has turned into, I'm continuing to honor my grandfather and I still love serving my country, but now I'm doing it for my family and to continue to further my career and pursue those professional opportunities. So your why kind of evolves as you go on, but having that in your statement of motivation, it's going to make you stand out. You want strong letters of recommendation for your board packet. That's just going to help speak to your character and show the board members that are in charge of selection, who you are as a clinician and who you are as a leader and a person. Of course, you want a good GPA. Like I said, it's not necessary for a 3.0, but the higher the better. A GRE score for when you're applying to CRNA school. So having a higher GRE score will help you. And then any additional trainings or certifications that are on your resume, that's all going to help out too. So if you have your ICU certification or ER certification, that's just gonna help you out.
Awesome.
And then this is just in closing, after our discussion, who's ready to join me on the best team on earth. I know Andrew's excited to join us, and I'm hoping that there'll be several other people that will reach out and, want more information on the next steps to get started.
Awesome. So we do have a couple more comments and questions that's coming in. One comes in from Mr. Andrew again, and he asks, For strap, is that a $2,400 in replacement on what an active duty nurse would get as opposed to BAH, BAS?
So essentially, that is kind of, could be used as your stipend. You know, if you do strap, you're on your own as far as school costs. So this is like a financial incentive to help you out so that you don't feel obligated to have to have a job or something like that, and it will help you out with your finances. So that is, you know, kind of what the incentive is for Army Reserve. And you're just, you know, you're going to school, and then when you're done, you'll owe your time in service back to the reserve.
Okay. Next question comes in from Miss Vanessa Straza. She asks, is there anything that would help a med-surg nurse already in the reserves with completing FNP school?
You could potentially apply through for strap through the APMC on the reserve side. If you reach out to me, I can get you the email with the packet and see if that's something that they have slots available for. It honestly kind of depends on how far in you are and what the mission's like, but there was another reserve nurse that reached out not that long ago, and my coworker, Major Stoker, was able to get me the information to get to that person. So send me an email and we'll see what information we can get to you.
Awesome. Next question, and they're coming in furiously now. They're coming in. It said, I've heard that the AECP doesn't require the 1 to 2 years of experience needed as the prerequisite. Is that the case?
Yes, that's the case because you're going to be finishing up your BSN on the Army's dime, and then you're going to be coming in as a new nurse. So the only two ways now to become a brand new nurse, a brand new Army nurse, are through AECP and ROTC, or like if they attended West Point. We don't do any direct commission options for Army nurses at this time.
Okay. Next question comes in. Well, it's actually a comment. It says, got it. That makes sense. I'm sure that when I get to that point, you can guide me in the right path. It seems that
Absolutely.
Ingalls is getting good direction from you, Holly. That's definitely reflective of the work you've done. Compliments to you. And it looks like our questions and comments are kind of waning off now, but more than anything, I guess in closing, Holly, do you have anything that you'd like to share, I guess, to the people out there who may be interested in, becoming, wait, hold on. It looks like we got another question. The question is, can you share more about applying for HPSP scholarship to complete the FNP?
Okay, so let me just go back to that slide on my other computer. Okay.
Do I have that slide as well? I could bring it up.
You do. It's slide 7.
Let's go ahead
and... So, funny story. Chief Cooper actually ended up calling me to talk to me about what slots they have available, because they always like it when we send, nurses their way. Just like we like it when they send nurses our way. And so I had to text him like, hey, I'm on a live stream right now. I can't talk. And so he's texting me again. But so I'm still waiting to hear if they have slots available for new nurses. Okay, the HPSP program. You're going to the school of your choosing while the Army is paying for your school, and you're also receiving that stipend. 1, 2, 3 year scholarships available, and you can get 2 year for MSN, 3 year for DMP. If you want, more specific information than that, definitely send me an email, and I will help you decide if this is the right program to apply for. And then Chief Cooper did finally get me an answer. He said they have a nursing student program, so that's where you would apply while you're in nursing school and get selected, and then you would come in after you've graduated nursing school. Otherwise, they don't have any slots available for new RNs. You would have to get that experience. But if someone was interested in, reaching out to the Navy, I could get them information to do that as well. I'm not going to withhold that. So if I can, just reach out if you have any questions, if you need any support, mentorship, if you think this is something you might want to do, just reach out and we'll talk about it and we'll see what direction we can put you in.
Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I believe in closing, Holly, do you have anything you want to share with the people?
In closing, I just want to thank you, Otis. This has been so much fun. I don't even know how many live streams we've done together just because I keep losing track. But I'm really proud of the work that we've done. And more than anything, I'm just the best part about being a leader in the Army is helping others and being a mentor and, kind of helping people start their career. And I feel like I get to do that even more in recruiting than just, in a normal nursing or leadership position. So I'm just blessed with this opportunity. And I'm thankful that, future soldiers, leads, prospects, all the people that I talk to, that they trust me to help them in that process. So thank you all for tuning in and for your questions, your comments, your feedback. And please, reach out to me and let's get this party started.
Absolutely. I guess in closing, this is going to be my final live stream in the capacity of the 5th Medical Recruiting Battalion, but I will be continuing these live streams on my next venture. I'm not going to share that next venture right now. You'll just see me when you see me, everyone that's out there. So just thank you again, Holly, and I appreciate everything that you do.
Thank you. This won't be the end, but
no.
I appreciate all of your help and support. And I'm just getting started, and I'm still in recruiting for another 2 years. So I'm happy to help everyone that I can.
Absolutely, absolutely. So hang out in the broadcast room, and we'll talk in a little bit. Let me go ahead and close it off.
All right. Thank you all. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you. And in closing, we just had another good recruiting discussion, live discussion on Army nursing. If you're interested in continuing or starting a career in Army nursing, absolutely, Captain Weaver, and her information is scrolling on the bottom there. Reach out to her, send her a text, send her a friend request on LinkedIn, send her a message on Instagram. She will answer and she will square you away. Even if you're not in the 5th Medical Recruiting Battalion area, she can help you anywhere and making contact with you with a recruiter in whatever location it is that you're located on. So in parting, as I always say for our battalion, and I've enjoyed this for the past 12 plus months of doing these live streams, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and take care of others. Army medicine is Army strong.